Have you ever felt unusually tired after eating, even if it was a small meal? Or maybe you're struggling to lose weight, despite doing all the right things. I've seen this happen to someone very close to me, my cousin, actually. She was active, didn't overeat, and yet, her energy levels kept crashing. After months of confusion and worry, we discovered the culprit: insulin resistance. And it's far more common than people realize. I'm sharing this with you today because I don't want you or anyone you love to be caught off guard. Insulin resistance often sneaks in silently, showing subtle symptoms that many of us brush off. But left unchecked, it can lead to more serious conditions like type 2 diabetes, heart disease, and even polycystic ovary syndrome. In this video, I'm going to walk you through 7 important signs of insulin resistance that you need to watch for. If you recognize even one of these, it could be your body asking for help. I'll also share simple changes that can make a big difference, things you can do right away. So please stay with me to the end, and don't forget to like, share, and subscribe if you want more friendly, fact-based health advice to help you live your best life. Alright, let's dive in. Let me ask you, have you ever finished a meal and instead of feeling energized, you felt like taking a nap? That's one of the most overlooked early signs of insulin resistance. You see, insulin is the hormone that helps your cells absorb glucose from the food you eat. But when your body becomes resistant to insulin, it struggles to move glucose into your cells. So even though there's sugar in your blood, your cells aren't getting the fuel they need. The result? You feel exhausted, even right after eating. That's exactly what was happening to my cousin. She'd eat a healthy lunch, but by 2 p.m., she felt like she had no energy left to even walk around the house. This kind of fatigue isn't the same as being tired from a long day. It's deeper. It feels like your body is running on empty, no matter how much you rest. And because insulin resistance often develops gradually, many people don't connect the dots. In fact, according to a study published by the National Institutes of Health, chronic post-meal fatigue is one of the earliest metabolic changes linked to insulin resistance. And it often appears years before any lab test confirms the condition. What can you do about it? Start tracking how you feel after meals. Swap refined carbs for complex ones like quinoa, oats, or sweet potatoes. Eat more fiber and protein to slow the sugar spike. And stay hydrated. Water helps regulate glucose uptake. This one small change, being mindful of how your body feels after meals, can be the wake-up call you need to prevent something bigger down the road. Coming up next, a sign you can see in the mirror, but most people ignore it completely. Now here's something most people don't realize. When your body starts storing extra fat around your belly, it's not just about overeating or skipping the gym. It could be your body's way of saying, hey, I'm becoming insulin resistant. I remember when my cousin told me she was eating healthier than ever, walking every day, yet her jeans kept getting tighter, especially around her waist. That's when we started asking questions. Because belly fat is one of the clearest external signs of insulin resistance. Why? It's because insulin is a fat storage hormone. When your body becomes resistant to insulin, it starts producing more of it in an effort to manage your blood sugar. This excess insulin signals your body to store fat, particularly in the abdomen. And here's the kicker, it becomes a vicious cycle. The more belly fat you gain, the more resistant your body becomes to insulin. In fact, research published in the Journal of Clinical Endocrinology and Metabolism confirms that increased abdominal fat is strongly linked with insulin resistance, even in people with normal body weight. That's why this symptom can show up in people who don't look overweight in the traditional sense. If you've noticed that your clothes are getting snug around your midsection, even though your diet or activity hasn't changed, it might be time to look deeper. These are ways you can manage belly fat and support insulin sensitivity. Add strength training to your weekly routine. It helps burn visceral fat. Include more anti-inflammatory foods like leafy greens, berries, and fatty fish. Reduce processed sugar and refined carbs. Get 7 to 8 hours of quality sleep. Poor sleep affects insulin regulation. This isn't about body shaming, it's about listening to the messages your body is sending before things get serious. Let me ask you, do you find yourself reaching for sweets or carbs even when you're not hungry? It's not just a lack of willpower. Your body could be crying out for balance because insulin resistance is throwing your blood sugar on a roller coaster. That's what happened to me personally. For a while, I couldn't go a day without craving bread, cookies, or chocolate. And every time I tried to cut back, it felt impossible. Only later did I realize that insulin resistance was behind those intense cravings. Here's what's going on. When insulin doesn't work well, your cells don't get the glucose they need for energy. So your brain, thinking it's running low on fuel, tells you to eat more sugar and carbs, the fastest sources of glucose. But of course, eating more sugar just worsens insulin resistance. And the cycle continues: crash, crave, repeat. A study in the American Journal of Clinical Nutrition showed that insulin-resistant individuals are more likely to experience strong food cravings, especially for high-carb foods. That's your body trying to fix a problem, but in the wrong way. These are how you can regain control over cravings. Eat protein with every meal. It helps stabilize blood sugar. Choose high-fiber foods like chia seeds, flax seeds, and whole grains. Don't skip meals. Skipping meals can trigger bigger blood sugar crashes. Include magnesium-rich foods like leafy greens, nuts, and avocado. Magnesium supports insulin function. So if you're constantly craving sugar or carbs, don't just blame yourself. It could be a deeper issue with insulin, and there's help for that. This one might surprise you. Peeing more often than usual and feeling thirsty all the time could be a hidden clue that your insulin isn't doing its job properly. I first noticed this in a friend who was constantly carrying a water bottle and needing bathroom breaks every hour. At first, we all joked that she was just really hydrated, but when she got checked, her blood sugar was well above normal, and her doctor explained that insulin resistance was the root cause. Here's the science behind it. When insulin can't help glucose enter your cells, the excess sugar stays in your bloodstream. Your kidneys then try to flush out the extra sugar by producing more urine. That's why you may start peeing more frequently, especially at night. And to make up for the fluid loss, your body tells you to drink more water. This symptom often gets dismissed as just drinking too much water, but it's one of the earliest signs that something is wrong. According to the Centers for Disease Control and Prevention, CDC, increased thirst and urination are common signs of prediabetes and insulin resistance, and they often show up before any formal diagnosis. These are what you can do to ease the load on your kidneys and improve insulin sensitivity. Cut down on sugary drinks and processed snacks. Stay hydrated, but focus on water and herbal teas, not sodas or fruit juices. Consider getting a fasting blood sugar test or an insulin test if these symptoms persist. Include cinnamon or apple cider vinegar in your meals. They may help stabilize blood sugar. Don't ignore what feels like a small inconvenience. Frequent thirst and urination could be your body's early SOS. Let's be honest, we all feel tired sometimes. But if you wake up after a full night's sleep and still feel drained like your body is dragging through the day, that could be a sign of insulin resistance slowly taking its toll. This was actually one of the biggest red flags for me. I was sleeping 7 to 8 hours, eating regularly, and still yawning by mid-morning. At first, I blamed stress or maybe not getting enough iron, but when I looked deeper, I realized my energy dips were closely tied to my blood sugar roller coasters. Here's why. When insulin isn't working efficiently, your cells don't absorb glucose, which is your body's main source of energy. Even if your blood sugar levels are high, your muscles and brain can still feel starved, making you feel weak, mentally foggy, or unmotivated. A study published in Diabetes Care found that individuals with insulin resistance often report chronic fatigue, especially during the day, due to impaired glucose utilization in their cells. And it's not just physical fatigue, it affects your mental clarity too. These are how you can regain energy naturally. Eat balanced meals with protein, fiber, and healthy fats to avoid sugar crashes. Try light movement after meals. Walking can help your cells absorb glucose better. Add magnesium-rich and B vitamin foods to your diet, like leafy greens, nuts, and legumes. Get your vitamin D levels checked. Deficiency can worsen insulin resistance and fatigue. So if you're sleeping well but still feel wiped out, your body may not be using energy properly, and it's time to support it from the inside out. This one is especially overlooked, but it's something you can literally see in the mirror. Have you noticed dark, velvety patches on your neck, underarms, or elbows? Or maybe you've spotted a few skin tags around your neck or under your arms. These might look harmless, but they can be early signs of insulin resistance. A good friend of mine had this experience. She always wore scarves to hide a dark patch on her neck. When she finally mentioned it to her doctor, it turned out she had prediabetes and was already insulin resistant. That dark, thickened skin is called acanthosis nigricans, and it often appears when insulin levels are high. The excess insulin in your blood can stimulate skin cells to grow faster, especially in areas where skin folds. Skin tags, those small, soft growths, are also linked to high insulin levels. According to the American Academy of Dermatology, these skin changes are not just cosmetic, they're clinical markers that should not be ignored, especially if they appear suddenly or start increasing in number. These are how you can support your skin and insulin balance. Focus on reducing refined carbs and sugar in your meals. Incorporate more whole, unprocessed foods with a low glycemic index. Exercise regularly. It improves insulin sensitivity and circulation to your skin. Consult a healthcare provider if new skin changes appear suddenly. Sometimes your body sends visible clues before blood tests do. Your skin may be telling a story your blood hasn't told yet. You know that frustrating feeling when you're in the middle of a conversation and suddenly forget what you were saying? Or when you're trying to focus on a task but your mind just won't cooperate? That used to happen to me more than I'd like to admit. For a while, I chalked it up to just being tired, but it turns out these mental hiccups, brain fog, forgetfulness, mood swings, can also be connected to insulin resistance. Why? Because your brain needs a steady flow of glucose to function at its best. When your blood sugar keeps spiking and crashing due to insulin issues, your brain gets caught in that storm too. That's why you might feel mentally foggy one moment and unusually irritable the next. A review published in Frontiers in Neuroscience linked insulin resistance to reduced brain function, memory issues, and even higher risk of neurodegenerative diseases later in life. It's serious stuff, but also very preventable. These are how you can support your brain and mood. Eat complex carbs like oats, quinoa, and sweet potatoes for steady energy. Get regular physical activity, walking, dancing, or even gardening counts. Incorporate omega-3 rich foods like walnuts, flax seeds, and fatty fish. Manage stress. Deep breathing, journaling, or even prayer can help regulate cortisol, which affects insulin. If you're struggling with focus or emotional ups and downs, your brain might not be getting the support it needs. Check in with your body, not just your calendar. After learning all of this, I realized that insulin resistance doesn't start with a diagnosis, it starts with whispers. A little extra belly fat, a patch of dark skin, sudden fatigue, mood swings, these are all signs your body is asking for help. The truth is, most people ignore these signs until it's too late. But that doesn't have to be your story. If you've seen even one of these symptoms in yourself or someone close to you, don't panic, but don't wait either. These early signs are your opportunity to take control, to make simple daily changes that can prevent something more serious down the line like type 2 diabetes, heart issues, or even cognitive decline. I've been there. I've seen it in people I care about. And that's why I'm passionate about sharing this with you today. So let's take small, consistent steps. Eat whole, balanced meals. Move your body daily. Get enough quality sleep. Stay hydrated and reduce stress. And most importantly, stay informed and pay attention to what your body is telling you. Have you experienced any of these signs? Let me know in the comments. Let's start a conversation. Your story could inspire someone else to get the help they need. If this video helped you, please hit like, share it with someone who might need it, and subscribe for more life-changing health tips. And don't forget to turn on notifications so you never miss an update on how to take care of your health, naturally and powerfully. Take care of your body now, so it can take care of you later.